NBA today, the aforementioned Kelsey Mitchell. Congrats on your hello and congrats on your 34-point performance. What did you have working there in game one for you?
I think it was just about having confidence for one, leaning on my preparation, and then my teammates, our chemistry.
Joining NBA today, the aforementioned Kelsey Mitchell. Congrats on your hello and congrats on your 34-point performance. What did you have working there in game one for you? I think it was just about having confidence for one, leaning on my preparation. And then my teammates, our chemistry has finally spoken. Kind of put us after what feels like an eternity of carefully curated sound bites, media narratives spun by outsiders, and endless speculation from every corner of the sports world. The veteran soul of the Indiana Fever has pulled back the curtain. She didn't just answer a question, she unleashed a truth bomb. And in doing so, she provided a masterclass in leadership, loyalty, and emotional intelligence. The cameras captured every syllable, every subtle inflection, and the WNBA universe is buzzing, trying to decode the layers. Is this a simple story of admiration, the quiet beginnings of a professional rivalry, or is it the most brutally honest, strategically brilliant, and refreshingly real teammate assessment we have witnessed in professional sports in decades? That, my friends, is for you to decide. And then you bring in Kane, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball, and as a friend. And as a player, you grow to appreciate her, because you know certain doors have opened, because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her, because she's accepted it with so much grace, and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make you know what it is now. But before we descend into the heart of the matter, a question for you, and I want you to think deeply about this. Do you believe Caitlin Clark has fundamentally and irrevocably changed the sport of basketball, not just for women, but as a global phenomenon? Is this the single most significant paradigm shift in modern sports? Let your voice be heard in the comments below. I'm pretty sure somebody took care of it for her. I love it because, as much people don't know this about Caitlin, but she has an unbelievable, funny sense of humor. And so I think the tweet was the tweet, but you just have to know CC to know that it's just nothing but love coming from that kid, and her energy and her effort to just kind of support our team is just her way of doing it. Let's properly set the stage, because without the context, the weight of Mitchell's words is lost. Understand this. Anytime a player, coach, or even a water boy for the Indiana Fever steps within a 10-foot radius of a microphone, the Clark question is coming. It is an absolute, unassailable certainty. It's a predictable, almost Pavlovian response from the media. You could be in the middle of breaking down the complexities of a new defensive scheme, discussing a crucial upcoming road trip, or even talking about your favorite pregame meal, and then, like an eclipse, it descends. But what about Caitlin? This time the person in the hot seat was not just another player. It was Kelsey Mitchell. You guys have made the playoffs the last two. What's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically? Oh man, I think a big shout out to the organization taking time to rebuild. I think our draft picks end up coming big. Lexi Hall was a big draft pick, and then you get Caitlin, and then you get AB. And so you accumulate that together with, my experience in having to, go through a couple things before they got there. I think it was just like a match made in heaven, really, because I was, still at a young age to really, vibe and get to know these players for who they were. And then you bring in Kane, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball, and as a friend and as a player, you better appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever. And you have to respect that. And I let that name resonate for a moment. This is the very same Kelsey Mitchell who for years was the franchise's lone flickering star in a sea of darkness. She was the one who carried this team through its bleakest, most desolate days. She was the warrior on the court when an Indiana Fever victory was not just an upset, but a certifiable miracle. We are talking about the era of winning 5 games in an entire season. 5. You could count them on one hand and still have fingers left over to wave goodbye to your playoff hopes in May. That is the professional abyss she not only survived, but did so with class. That is the psychological baggage she carried. While the rest of the league viewed a game against Indiana as a glorified paid practice scrimmage, a night to pad the stats and rest the starters in the fourth quarter, she had to endure the task of pushing a boulder of mediocrity up a hill every single night. Often being the only player in double digits, only to face the cameras afterward and talk about building blocks and positive takeaways from a 24. It's like, I thought it was really poor. Really poor. Kelsey Mitchell, what about the way she was playing today made it so difficult? Well, one, she made every freaking shot. It seemed like long twos, short twos, threes, at the free throw line. So when Kelsey Mitchell finally speaks, truly speaks on the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, it's not going to be some fabricated, PR-polished media-trained dill. It's not going to be one of those hollow prepackaged, "Oh, she's great. She's a wonderful teammate. She's helping us a lot." Those are the lines for people with something to hide. No, this is authentic. It's raw. And it is layered with the hard-earned wisdom of a survivor. And what did she do? She validated what every single person with a pair of eyes already knows, but is sometimes hesitant to say out loud for fear of contributing to the hype machine. Caitlin Clark didn't just change the Indiana Fever. She changed the entire ecosystem of basketball. Now, you were an MVP finalist this year with our own Jane Goumet, even saying that you had the best season of any guard this year in the league. What has it been like to get that kind of recognition and get your flowers? Oh, I appreciate it. I've been through a lot throughout the course of my career with Indiana Fever. It's been like my longest ever. So it's like for me, it's a humbling experience to kind of see myself, make ways from where it started to where it is now, and just kind of respect the game, lean on the game as far as creating bonds and friendships. And now you get to see us do that now a couple years later. Kelsey said it herself, and the words landed with the force of a tectonic shift. Clark changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. That is not small talk. That is not hyperbole. That is a seismic acknowledgement from the one person who had every right to be resentful. That's your original cornerstone. The star who was there first, looking directly into a camera and essentially declaring, yes, without Caitlin Clark, none of this. The sold-out arenas that now roar. The primetime national TV slots we now occupy. The global media attention that now follows our every move happens. And the most astonishing part of this declaration, the void, the complete and utter absence of jealousy in her tone. There was no bitter side-eye, no passive-aggressive qualifier, just the pure, unadulterated respect of one elite professional for another. However, do not mistake this for capitulation. This is where Kelsey Mitchell's brilliance truly shines. She didn't forget her own value. In the same breath, she expertly and subtly woo in the reminder that she has been here, grinding in the trenches, weathering the storms, and taking the losses on the chin long before Clark's private jet touched down in Indianapolis. And that is an irrefutable, undeniable truth. Without Mitchell's relentless scoring, her unwavering consistency, and her willingness to be the franchise's face during its nadir, Caitlin Clark, wouldn't have a stage of this quality to perform on. People in this new glittering era of fever basketball forget or conveniently choose to ignore that Mitchell is one of the most underrated and lethal scorers in the entire WNBA. She doesn't get the magazine covers or the national endorsement deals, but she is the foundational backbone that kept this entire organization from collapsing into total irrelevance. She wasn't just keeping the lights on. She was the power plant. Let's rewind the tape. When Lexi Hall, a tough defensive-minded player, was drafted, the Fever were still struggling mightily. The record was a punchline. Mitchell had to smile through press conferences while pretending 5 wins was a sign of impending progress. Then came Aaliyah Boston, a generational talent in the post, a beacon of hope. Then came Clark, the supernova, who bent the sports world to her will. Slowly, meticulously, the foundation changed. And Mitchell, the seasoned veteran, she adapted. She didn't sulk. She didn't demand a trade to a contender. She didn't leak anonymous complaints to reporters about her touches. She embraced the new reality, recognizing it not as a threat, but as the arrival of long-overdue reinforcements. This is precisely why her words carry the weight of gospel. When she says Caitlin Clark changed the game, it's not